Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose XB. I'll bring you another Injustice 2 video, and today what I got for you guys is a news roundup talking about some stuff that we got about the entire first chapter of Injustice 2 story mode, as well as some information that we got about some gear that we might see, some shaders that we might see for some characters. Obviously you're reading the title, but we'll get to that in a second. Before we do with this news roundup, I just wanted to ask you guys if you can leave a like rating on this video. It shows your support and I would really appreciate it, so if you leave a like rating, that would be awesome. With that out of the way, let's jump into my news roundup that we got today, talking about some stuff for the Injustice 2 story mode, as well as some gear shaders that we might see for the game. So all this information is coming from a website known as Newsarama. They got access to a pre-release build of Injustice 2, and they got to play what seems to be the entire first chapter of the Injustice 2 story mode, as well as look deep into some of the character customization, some of the things you can do with gear, and of course, gear shaders. Now when talking about gear, they of course mention that this is the biggest feature in the game, the newest feature in the game, and they later on mentioned when talking about the gear system, they said exactly this. Injustice 2 also allows for various predetermined color schemes, some of which have ties to comic book counterparts, i.e. Red Lanterns. So they specifically mentioned that maybe one of the gear shaders you can get in the game is going to change the color scheme of your character into a Red Lantern. Now, I don't think they're talking about atrocities here, as they're talking about gear shaders, so the next best guess is that they're talking about Hal Jordan, who is the Green Lantern in the game. This is something that was teased a while back from Tyler Lansdowne during a Watchtower live stream, so I think hearing this in this article is pretty much as close to a confirmation as we'll get that gear shaders for Green Lantern can change his color scheme and turn him into different colors in the Lantern spectrum. We all kind of saw this coming. It's going to be very exciting to see this in action. Hopefully we'll see it sooner than later. If not, then we're just going to have to check it out when we get our hands on the game. But this is really exciting. Because of the amount of shaders that you can get per character, I wonder how many different colors of the Lantern spectrum you can turn Green Lantern into. You know, are they going to have a Yellow Lantern shader? Obviously it seems like they have a Red Lantern shader. Maybe they have a Blue Lantern, White Lantern. I don't really know, but this is super exciting and I cannot wait to see it when we get our hands on Injustice 2. But yeah, this pretty much seems to be a confirmation. I don't want to say it's officially confirmed because we haven't seen it in action yet, but it's about as close to a confirmation as we are going to get as of right now. Now moving on, let's talk about the story mode for Injustice 2. As I mentioned, Newsarama got access to play the first chapter of the story mode, and they did talk about what goes down in that entire first chapter, the character that you play as, the fights that you encounter, and all sorts of stuff like that. Before we do, this is your spoiler warning. If you don't want to know anything about the Injustice 2 story mode at all, this is going to be talking about the entire first chapter for the most part and what fights you're going to encounter and all sorts of stuff like that. So if you don't want to know anything, now is the time to click off the video. Spoilers ahead. Where you gone? Are you staying? It doesn't matter. Let's jump into the first chapter of Injustice 2 story mode. So the first chapter, you will be playing as Batman, and this is actually going to take place during a flashback. During this time, Batman and Robin are driving in the Batwing, and Robin, of course, being Damian Wayne, until it is hacked and they have to eject out of the Batwing. I'm assuming it's going to be hacked by Cyborg. We saw a bit of this in Shattered Alliance's Part 1, I believe it was, so it's going to be interesting to see how that goes down. I'm assuming that is going to be a fight that you encounter after the Batwing is ejected, or after you eject out of the Batwing, you encounter Cyborg. He's the one who hacked it. You have a little battle with him, and things move on. During this cutscene, we also get a bit of that conflict between Damian Wayne and Batman, where Damian Wayne is okay with the fact that Superman killed the Joker, and Batman definitely isn't. It's against Batman's moral code, and he just isn't okay with it. We get a bit of that conflict throughout that cutscene, as it seems from what Newsarama is reporting here. Now later on, you end up in a prison, as they mentioned, and it's probably going to end up being Arkham Asylum, and you get an encounter with Superman playing as Batman. Now Batman ends up using a red kryptonite grenade to weaken Superman, and a fight breaks out between the two. So obviously, you know, because of the fact that Superman is insanely overpowered, they have to make it make a little bit of sense that Batman can fight Superman, so they use a red kryptonite grenade as a device to help weaken Superman and let Batman be able to take him on. So after that fight against Superman, it's mentioned here that Damian appears with Victor Zsasz at knife point. He asks Zsasz how many people he's killed or how many women he's killed, and Zsasz replies with the number, and after this, Damian kills him. He slits his throat. That is really freaking dark, man. Holy crap. They are really going out there with Injustice 2, and I think the game got a T for teen rating, so Damn, they are really taking that extra step. They're doing what is necessary to tell the right story. So Damian kills Zsasz, and after this moment, Damian has a fight with Batman, and after Damian is defeated, Superman takes him and flies off. So that is probably the beginning of the partnership that we see with Superman and Robin that leads to where he gets to in Injustice Gods Among Us story. After that, it's mentioned that Batman continues his investigation and he has an encounter and a fight against Wonder Woman as well, and that's all that's mentioned in terms of the first chapter for the Injustice 2 story mode. Now, it seems like this is the entire first chapter. Maybe Wonder Woman is the last fight that you have in this chapter, and then it moves on. Of course, their demo probably ended, and that was all they got to see from the story mode, but there are really juicy pieces of information that we got from this entire first chapter. We have that conflict between Batman and Damian. We see the beginning of what happens with Superman and Damian and how they end up working together. We also have a fight against Superman, which is going to be very interesting to see, and we get some ideas about how this encounter is going to happen with Cyborg that we see in Shattered Alliances Part 1. So all this stuff is really cool information. I can't wait to play it and see what happens next. It's very, very interesting. Lots of stuff going on. I am so excited for the Injustice 2 story mode. It's looking to be freaking amazing. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts on all this information in the comment section below. What do you think about the Red Lantern or the Colored Lantern Spectrum shaders for Green Lantern? I want to hear what you guys think of that. And what do you think about all this information about Chapter 1 for Injustice 2 story mode? I want to hear everything that you guys think in the comment section below. I'm Caboose XBL. Once again, if you can leave a like rating on this video, I would really appreciate it. And you can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.